Hello and welcome
to another episode
of the world famous
and super sensual
Tissot Visodates.
Yes, the Tissot Visodates. Whatever, that's a catchy name. We should have gone for that one instead.
I think Lume, plotters, and then Visodate. The Visodates.
Does the Visodate have a Lume plot?
Yes,
it does. Tiny one.
Tiny
Ever so tiny dot. But before we get into the Tissot Visodates and we should, in fact, talk a little bit about what you're wearing.
What am I wearing? So this year I am wearing the watch that I should have worn in the
AP episode
we recorded, but I didn't. So I'm wearing my Royal Oak Offshore chronograph, the Beast,
which is still not fixed.
No, it's still not fixed, as in my 30-minute counter still is at the 1 minute mark.
Yes. Well, I feel like you explained this a lot. Like it's probably the 15th time.
I just thought this is the shortest and crispest version of this.
So instead of being nicely at 0, the 30-minute counter is at 1.
And it just doesn't.
Eventually, so ladies and gentlemen, the clutch will slip. And it's just slipping and slipping and slipping. Imagine just 2 pieces of sandpaper rubbing against each other. Eventually, those 2 pieces of sandpaper will become flat, at which point Ralph's minute hand will start spinning around uncontrollably. And
not uncontrollably, just will count minutes when I'm not engaged the chronograph, which is rubbish. But yes, it is a known issue with this new in-house chronograph movement, flyback movement, and it's beautiful, this movement. But yeah, it's a known issue, and or they will fix it under warranty, but I just have to.
It's a pain to send things in for warranty, right?
Yeah, it takes
6 months.
It can do it locally.
Yeah, but the thing is look at Mahmoud's. He comes back with scratches too. So,
let's hope that this was just sheer bad luck, hopefully, and I get it back and it works and everything is good.
So,
let's see.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Tudor Pelagos again. And I just wanted to point out, I was putting it in my wear counter. Mm-hmm. And as of now, I don't know how this works, but I have my 2 most worn watches are the Black Bay 54 and the Pelagos 39. Mm-hmm. And these 2 watches, I do not wear them equally in terms of like 1-1. It's not kind of this back and forth tennis match. It's like 10 days straight of just Pelagos and then 10 days of just Black Bay. And then I won't even touch the Pelagos for 2 weeks. And then it comes back. Yet, since I started doing this counting again, both of them are exactly at 69 wears each, which I don't understand how magically they're exactly at the same number, but they are. And ironically, the next most worn watch behind these 2 is my Omega Speedmaster at 35 wears, which is half of what either one of these are. So the Tudors are getting so much wrist time that it just doesn't even compare to the rest. I don't know why that is, but
I'm telling you, it's just the easiest choice you can do, right?
Yes,
I think
one is a little bit dressier and vintagier. The other one's modern, bulky, titanium, subby. So perfect. You don't need anything else.
Yeah. I think it is just as you said, it's so nice and comfortable as well, right? I mean, it's just, because I had the same feeling as well. I have worn my Tudor Ranger and my Rolex Explorer. Basically, also they 2 are absolutely dominating my wear statistics.
During the war.
No. Also before, it was just a continuation. That during the war, at some stage, I felt like now just putting on a AP, even though I'm staying at home.
I should mention that the war is on while we're recording this. It could have ended by the time this airs. So
let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Otherwise, we could all be in a nuclear winter and skiing in Dubai. Not in not in ski Dubai, just on the slopes of.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I was making a joke about this, by the way. We're cycling in the desert, and it was a little bit chilly. Like in the mornings at 7 a.m, it still gets a little bit chilly in the desert. And a friend of mine is like complaining, like it's too cold, it's too cold, it's too cold. And I'm like, just wait till the nuclear winter comes. It's gonna be way colder than this. It's gonna be
not
quite
the
nice.
Best joke.
No, but it's
not
still,
the
it's
best joke.
topical. Topical. But anyway.
Yes. So what we have to do for you today is an interview with Roger Smith that, again, I took by myself. I think it was with Carl, who was joining me at the time, because, Martin left me all alone on Dubai Watch Week. And I had to find my way around all by myself. But and Roger Smith gave us a lot of very, very interesting anecdotes, but you will listen to it just after our ramblings. We will have the interview for you. Roger Smith is a very, very special person, right? So I have asked him a lot of very cool questions, I think, hopefully. You will enjoy that. And of course, he is such a humble, normal person to talk to. It was just a pleasure to sit with him and just chat about things. So whenever you see him and you want to say hello, if you're coming to Dubai Watch Week or other places where he's really happy to talk about his work.
I talked to him as well.
How he's doing. Yeah, super nice.
He does talk a lot.
Yes, in the best possible way.
So you don't feel like you're taking all of his time, right? He just genuinely wants to talk to you.
Super happy to share and talk about his way of how to do things and all of the stuff. I mentioned controversial topics. It's like, do you think, just like wouldn't Breguet use a silicone hairspring because he used the most advanced technology he could?
And what did he say?
I said, I said, would you use one, right? And I think you'll hear it yourself, but he said basically no, never. He would never do that. Because for him, it's just like, because I think, and he did save this argument very well, longevity, right? Because he says a hairspring can be made by a good watchmaker. He can just source, a hairspring and fit it, and it can be repaired. Silicone needs to be done specifically, right? It's not easy. You have to have it made for your specific balance wheel and all of this stuff. It's not easy. It can only be done with some high-tech equipment. It's not the watchmaker's watch anymore, right? So it's he feels that you lose some soul when you do it.
Yeah.
He didn't say that, of course, but he thinks that no, for him that's out of the question. No silicone in his watches.
Now, before we get into Roger Smith, let's talk a little bit about, there was a couple new releases, but before we get into the new releases, I finally went and tried on the Omega Planet Ocean.
600
million.
So
I tried on the blue and the black. The black on rubber, the blue on the bracelet.
Yes.
So I have now seen everything. I have comments.
I'm very curious because I have also comments. First, can I tell you mine first? Wait a second.
You want to go first?
Mine first was just because they're very short. First impression was, oh, that looks good. And then after 5 minutes, it's like,
Similar. Where we can, I look at the price tag. I'm like 36K. Like
on rubber
for 20.
36, right? No, on rubber.
Yeah, on rubber.
And I think on the bracelet is 40.
Yeah, I didn't look at this tag on the bracelet, but the bracelet one was the blue one.
Mm-hmm.
Rubber was the black one. And I thought, okay, all black on a black rubber strap, that's going to be cool, right? Here's my issue. The blue bezel has, I don't know if they're luminous or not, but has white hands, which matches the Lume. So I don't know if this is luminous or not, but it looks cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
The black has mirrored numerals, the chrome numerals, which looks like crap. And it does not look good. In the pictures, sometimes it looks good. However, in real life, you can't really see the numerals and it gets washed away. Rolex did this as well. If you think back with a 39 millimeter Explorer, they did this and they realized the error of their way. And very quickly after like 1 or 2 years, swapped it out and then had Lume filled they did
the same with the Air King, right?
I don't remember out the Air
The
King,
first version didn't have Lume. It had solid markers. And the second
Explorer
one,
definitely did, but I don't know about this. Now, the issue here is the Lume looks so much better on the blue bezel one or the numerals. I didn't like that. That was my biggest turnoff was that the chromed out numerals. I liked the bezels. I liked the bezel action. I liked the case back. I liked the bracelet. I liked the strap.
Yeah. I
hated the price.
Yeah. See,
the price is not realistic. It's not attainable. I'm sure they're going to give you a 25% or whatever discount right off the bat at the Rivoli. However,
38,000.
Even then, I'm just no. Nah.
It's 38,000 on bracelet. I made a mistake.
Yeah,
earlier.
38.
But
and 36 on how much is it on bracelet? Or on strap? Sorry.
Just a second. 35,350.
Yeah. So I looked at the price of the bracelet one is what I saw, 38, and I was out the door. I literally gave it back to the lady. I'm like, thank you, bye. And then I left.
So yeah, I liked it when I had it on my wrist, and I thought the bracelet was okay. It was good. The only thing that I find absolutely frustrating is there is no smart exchange, quick exchange, quick release, whatever.
I don't care about that. Come on.
No, I think no, really, because that's a watch where you want to have maybe the rubber strap and all of this stuff, and you just can't. I mean, you have to use your the strap changing tools, and this is so old school. They have done this on 1 or 2 of these Omega 300 diver models, and you think, why didn't they roll it out for the entirety of the model range or the bracelets?
Excellent question.
Why didn't they do this for the Planet Ocean 600? What's the point? This is so backwards. I mean, okay, Rolex doesn't do it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, Omega, right?
I don't know, but
what did you think?
Was nice.
What did you think? Yeah, the strap was actually very, very comfortable. What did you think about the orange version? Or
did not have at my boutique. Okay. Couldn't try. I tried the other 2 only. But I wouldn't care about the orange. The orange to me does not look good. The orange numbers look like crap. The orange is not a colorway that I would go for ever. The black and the blue, let's say gun to my head right now, you say, Martin, here's $40K cash. You have to buy one of these 2 watches.
Yeah.
I would struggle to choose between
the black and the blue.
Black, blue, bracelet, or strap. I don't. The orange wouldn't even be in the running. But to choose between those 4, I would really struggle. Personally, I would go black bezel.
Yeah.
But I would want the white numerals of the blue bezel one. So that was my main issue. And for the thing is, if it was $20K, I wouldn't care really. But at $40K,
$20K, you can't. I mean, Omega has increased the prices by.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't care if they have chrome numerals versus white numerals, but for $40K, like I want the watch to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically the price of a Submariner. Yeah, so it's not the price of a. What is it?
Seamaster.
No. I mean the
Deep Sea.
No, is it Deep Sea?
No, Sea Dweller.
Not Deep Sea. Sorry, Sea Dweller. Yeah, exactly. Sea Dweller is, I think, even a bit more, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. But as we talked about before, they're trying to push this up at a price that is right under the Submariner's price, and saying, "Look, you get 300 extra meters of water resistance and meta certification
and no date." And but the other thing that you do also get is a pretty thick watch. It's nearly 14 millimeters.
I didn't feel it. Surprisingly,
it's done well. I think the mid case and the shape of the on the sides, this beveling and all of the stuff, it really hides its height.
They did a very
quite
good job.
well.
Now, what they need to do is man up and bring out a Seamaster 300M in the same design language as this, thinner, smaller.
That was also my
40
question.
mm.
But a lot of people have the one of the biggest comments of this watch is just it's a bit forgettable. It's too similar.
I tried it 2 days ago. I've already forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, that's my issue. It's for 40K. I don't care. It's not a good deal.
Because I was with the first when I tried them, I was actually very excited about them. I thought like, oh wow, they're actually looking quite nice, right? In hand, and they're really looking nice. But my problem was exactly like you were saying, that after 1 or 2 days, I didn't even think about them anymore, I even tried them. Every time I'm reminded about it, I think, yeah, actually it was quite nice, but it doesn't stay with you, right? A watch that you really desire will stay with you, and you will think about it every now and then.
I have to do that. There's two ways of doing this. The Pelagos 39 was never a watch. No, it was. It was. The only reason because it was titanium. That's what really got me into the Pelagos range. But this watch is like a sub. It's a very bland and boring watch. That's the whole point. A bland and boring watch is a watch that you can wear every single day for the rest of your life and not think twice about it. And it will go with everything, every outfit. Dress up, dress down, go to the beach, go to, skiing, everything, it will just do its job and it'll work. And that's why these watches, yes, they don't stick with you, but look at the watches that do. The Colloquium sticks with you. Does that mean the Colloquium is a very is a very versatile watch? Absolutely not. It's the opposite, right? So watches that stick out are generally watches that you don't wear every single day. Yeah. Look at your Explorer that you just bought. This is the Explorer. This is equally as boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the Explorer never, stuck out to me. It was just one day I was like, you know what? Like, I think I could go for this. And that's what the Explorer is. It's never something that you dream about. It's never something that, haunts you in your dreams. But when you have it, you're just like, wow, this does everything.
Yes, that's true.
Right? Did you stay up at night because you're thinking about the Explorer?
No, probably not. Exactly. I don't think, I think I've once or twice when I was quite excited about it because I knew the next morning I will go and buy a watch. That was quite exciting.
Yeah, that works with everything. You could buy a Tissot Visodate and you'd still be excited to go buy a watch like that.
Yes, buying a watch is always exciting. But my point is, I think we actually finished already. I mean, we can just go. We talk about the Visodate another time, but it is a new release from Tissot, and I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I two critical points to the Planet Ocean is I think the dial is a bit small when you look at it for a while. Right?
I like that. I like a big bezel and small dial. I'm okay with that.
The other thing is I find it a tiny bit busy because the indices are pretty big. Right? They go very far. And then you have the entirety of the bezel is also indicized, right? You have little dots from 15 to 60, but then you have the slightly longer one and just
and you have two arrow hands, broad arrow hands.
Exactly. You have two arrow hands, which is also a bit like, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Did the previous one not have two? It only had one.
I don't know. I think it had also two, but I'm not 100% sure.
This two broad arrow hand thing is kind of weird, but I'm not sure what the old one had. I'll look it up real fast. But Planet. It did. Double.
Yeah. Okay.
But I never noticed it. I guess
it's something that I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know what it is with Omega and the hands. I'm never the biggest fan of their hands.
I look at my Speedy stick hands.
Yes,
white
that's
stick
easy.
hands.
That's easy. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, done, clean. So,
But even the Seamaster 300, the hollow ones, right? With the
I like the hollow ones.
I'm not
the
100%
skeleton
sure.
hands. I thought those were cool. I did like those, just because they're weird. They're different. They're not something that everybody else does, and that's why. I like
that's true.
But anyway, okay. We mentioned the Visodate. The only reason we're mentioning the Visodate is because there is a new Tissot Visodate. It does not really matter.
I think yes, because it's like a new release from Tissot after the complete PRX avalanche, right?
Yeah, they do.
So now, and it's a good
looking watch. It reminds me of a Baltic of some sort, because it comes on the Beads of Rice bracelet, which looks super cool, by the way. It does have a date, so I'm immediately out. But the one thing that I hated about every PRX was the logo. How it's a Tissot, and then underneath it, it's like whatever the date was,
1850 or something, right?
53 or whatever it was. And I'm like, this is so stupid, because the vintage logo was much better. It was a square and a T inside the square, and underneath said Tissot. And I'm very happy to report that they, with the new Visodate, have gone back to the vintage logo.
The vintage logo, yeah.
T, and then underneath it Tissot. And no more this stupid 1853 or whatever date it was. And it's $950. Like,
yes, it's $950, and you get a good biometric AT movement with a silicone hairspring, 50 meters of water resistance. You do get the quick release bracelet and straps, and it's 39 millimeters in diameter and only 10.45 millimeters thick. So it's a very thin watch. It's nice.
It is. By the way, it's $850 if you get the silver dial. I don't know why there's a difference in dials. $100 difference in blue and black. Maybe the bracelet.
Well, I just also wanted to go back to the orange version.
The orange costs more on the Planet Ocean.
1,000 dirhams more, it's like $300 more for orange.
More than that. That's okay. So here 100, but I don't know if the silver's also silver's on a strap. Is the others on a strap as well? Can you scroll up a little bit for me so I can see? Are the blue ever on a strap? No, they're not. So the black dial and the blue dial are on bracelets, and the silver is on a strap. Hence why extra $100. The bracelet looks sick. Like, it looks really, really good.
I think it's a very good watch. It's a very
What's
good
the
release.
diameter?
39.
There is a good diameter. I like it.
It's just a very nice, pleasant looking, retro inspired watch.
Make this a no date and I'd be sold.
And it even has this pipe pan dial, right? I mean, there's so much going on for that little, in quotation marks, little money. But for $1,000, it's under $1,000. It's really cool.
$850 if you buy it on a strap.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's a good
with
watch.
Quick release bracelet.
Yeah, exactly what I mentioned before. You have this here. Omega.
On an $850 watch, but you don't have it on the
this is
39,000 dirhams.
Sister brand. Come on.
Exactly. And it's a sister brand. That's what's funny about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Okay. Now,
enjoy.
That's enough
Roger
for
Smith.
random news stuff.
Exactly.
Let's go into our interview. I do want to mention a few things about Roger Smith. 1, I saw him.
Yeah.
2, he was not wearing a watch. 3, I asked him, why is he not wearing a watch? And he said, it's because he can't afford one of his own watches.
But he did actually wear, I don't know if it's in this interview as well, but he did, do something with his Rolex, right? He had a...
Oh, yes. So this was a fun fact.
Yes.
So apparently his wife gifted him a Rolex Explorer. So he's a member of the Explorer Club, much like us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the watch he wears most often. Then he found this pedestrian Rolex movement to be so crappy that he took it apart and made it coaxial escapement.
He upgraded
and
the escapement. Yes. Swiss leather out.
Yeah. Coaxial escapement in.
Coaxially.
So he is got the only coaxial escapement. Remember, Roger Smith's was the apprentice for George Daniels, and George Daniels was the inventor of the coaxial escapement. So technically, it's kind of like this is what he grew up making, is coaxial escapements. So he has the only Rolex Explorer with a coaxial escapement in the world.
In the world.
Which is cool.
Until maybe Watches and Wonders.
Yeah, you think?
No, I don't.
Rolex is going to go coaxial. Screw our new whatever Siloxy escapements.
I know it's
Chronergy, whatever the hell it's called. We're going to go coaxial.
Okay.
All of a sudden, every watch is 3 millimeters thicker.
No, please. All right. So enjoy the interview, and we hear you next week. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Hear you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So hello, and welcome to the Lume Plotters podcast. Today I am joined by an absolute icon of watchmaking, and I'm a bit of a giddy fanboy sitting here in the soundproof room together with
Roger Smith
from Just With Watches. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. And?
Yes. Well, Roger Smith. Yes, that's me.
Right. So it's pretty easy because your brand is your name, right? So there you have just on the top of my head comes the question, succession planning. You don't have to worry about it either, right? You can just keep the name going on.
That's the hope. That's the intention. We very much set the business up to carry on long after I've gone.
Yeah, fantastic.
Hopefully become a generational business. We've done a lot of work actually just to make sure that everything's documented, everything's written down, everyone knows what they're doing, spreading knowledge throughout the whole workshop. Yeah. And that's very important.
Seeing what happened in the last couple of years, of how much the focus was also, I'm backtracking, but I have seen a couple of documentaries where, like Philippe Dufour and others, struggled to find apprentices or find the right apprentice, let's say, and pass on knowledge, because it was hard to find people getting fascinated with watchmaking and seeking that as their profession.
Yes.
Things have changed a bit, right, in the recent past.
I think so.
Manufacturing and producing things with your hands has struck a chord, I think, also with lots of younger people who see the value in just producing things again.
I think you're very right. I've noticed the same change. We've got a very young workshop. I think the youngest is 22 or 3 years old and doing brilliant work. And there is now this hunger for real experiences.
Yeah.
And I think, these things have had a good and both bad, these phones.
Yeah.
But I think channels like Instagram, where people put up their experiences of watchmaking, are helping to pull in new generations of people.
Yeah.
And but also I think this very digital world we live in is actually, I think, forcing people out into real experiences and wanting to use their hands. And
and especially because I think watches are an intimate piece of let's say, it's not really clothing, but of us humans that we are carrying with us. We're wearing it on our, I know it sounds weird, but on our naked skin. And it's something that we wear at least for 3/4 of a day.
Yeah.
Some people wear it 24 hours. And it's an intimate relationship you have here, Ross, with your wristwatch. And also you think it's a companion. If it's mechanical, you need to take reasonable care of it, or wind it every now and then to keep it going. So it has a bit of it's a little living piece on your watch. And I think for you, having this insight into the really fine details of the movement itself, and having produced literally every piece of that mechanism yourself, it's like a small universe for you, right? I think inside that watch.
It is. It's excuse me. I always describe the watch as being it's a micro machine. I see a timepiece as being a machine on your wrist, a portable machine. And for me, that's so intriguing and pulls you in to this micro world.
Yeah, I think for people, I studied economics. I work in travel technology, so it's a completely different world. But the moment you start looking at or appreciating the craftsmanship and seeing what happens in watches, or even trying your first few bits and pieces, think like, oh, that can't be too difficult. I'll just, regulate the watch myself, and seeing how many things you can, screw up in in these words. Yeah, it is very.
Yeah,
it's very impactful to see when you go to some of the master classes, especially here in Dubai Watch Week, where you can do free master classes with amazing companies and amazing teachers, and you just dabble in a very scratch the surface and see how tough this is. And I have the deepest respect. If I had a JLC masterclass one day, and had to just put some, in the simplest movement, put some the hairspring in. Oh, my goodness! I mean,
I was there once.
I cannot imagine how you can do this for 8 or 10 hours a day without having these bursts of anger that just built up in me when I thought, like, oh no, the 10th time I couldn't fit the screw, and the 12th time, and I was like, oh. How do you keep the inner calm? Is this like your work is your meditation? It brings you into the calm mode, or do you have to be calm to start your work?
No, I think you're probably right. I think it's, I suppose I'm a fairly naturally relaxed person. I mean, it's interesting to hear what you were saying. And I remember my early days at college, just struggling. And it's just becoming aware of the skill and learning how to deal with everything, the scale of the components. So that was very much the sort of learning experience. And you reminded me of that. But I mean, today, obviously, yes, I've done this all my life now. So it just becomes very much second nature, handling these components. And I find that when I am at the bench, you have this sort of little world in front of you, sort of 2-inch, well, we probably should be talking inches, but 2-inch square space, which is almost like a universe. And you just focus your whole world into that, your whole mind into this area. And I can sit there for hours and totally absorbed in whatever is in front of me, and suddenly your world, your universe, just shrinks into this tiny dimension, and it's powerful. Sort of, it is. I find it very relaxing.
Yeah, so that it is a bit like your work actually is just you blend out everything. This is what a lot of people look for nowadays, right? To blend out all the noise, all the things, all the worries of the world, and just be able to focus and do one thing and just be happy having. At the end, hopefully produced something, made progress. And lovely. That sounds really good. I haven't even looked at my questions. I have prepared a lot of questions, but we can just continue talking because this is wonderful. I just had an interesting interview just before talking to you with a up-and-coming company from China, Atelier Win. And I saw their guilloche work and their tantalum bracelet watches, and you think like, wait a second, the quality is amazing. Right. How do you see this this opposite of what we thought a couple of years ago? Oh, the mechanical watch industry is dying. Nobody wants to keep it going, and then suddenly you have these pockets popping up basically around the world, and it seems like there's a groundswell movement to happen.
There is. I mean, no doubt about it. And one of my sort of projects that I'm working on is the Alliance for British Watch and Clock Makers. And that was founded 5 years ago. And the forming group was, I think, about 20 companies. And now here we are 5 years later, and I think we're just short of 120 companies.
No way.
So there is a huge proliferation of people getting into watches, getting into watchmaking.
Yeah.
And actually, I think for me, one of the interesting things is the owners of these companies, particularly in my world, in British watchmaking, they're not coming from within the watchmaking sector. They're coming from outside of it.
Okay.
And they're coming in with ideas and fresh ideas. And of course, they're passionate about watches, but they're coming in with their own unique stories. And I think, this is very exciting because suddenly I think watchmaking is getting a bit of a boost and a bit of a kickstart, really. Yeah. And it's because these people are coming in from with fresh ideas. they're not constrained or tied to the past.
Right.
They have this sort of very open vision.
Very good segue for one of, I think, hopefully one of my questions, but it doesn't matter. How do you see the innovation in material science? Is this for you something where you think, if Breguet would be alive today, he would use a silicon hairspring because he used the latest technology available to him at his time? Or do you think like, no, we have to be more traditional because it's easier to repair and maintain if it's not silicon, because that is something that you can't really...
Yeah.
So
well,
how do you, where do you stand when you think about it?
I mean, to be honest, I don't buy into these new materials at all, because, I think it's all in plain sight in front of us. We have, in our watches we use steels, brasses, and some brilliant copper for the movements, and that's it. These are very standard materials that, as we all know, have been used in the last several hundred years of watchmaking. So they've been well tried and tested and proven to be successful. I think my concern is when we come to new materials is that when are those new materials going to be superseded by other materials? And that's a concern, because suddenly you may have a lot of redundancy within watches because maybe the components have failed and you can no longer replace those with... because the technology has moved on to the next super duper sort of material. I think I always take the leaf out of George's book. So George knew that there were problems with the lever escapement. It's a very inefficient escapement. We know that. It requires oil for it to work.
Yep.
Because of the incredible frictional issues within it. And George didn't look to change material to improve the life of the lever escapement. He had the sense to realize that it's fundamentally flawed as an escapement. So therefore, what we should do is to actually look at the escapement itself and can we create a new and more efficient escapement? And so he devoted his life to developing escapements, learning and pioneering escapement development, which resulted in the coaxial escapement. And I think he proved his point. The coaxial escapement is a remarkable escapement. We have been developing it now for 20 years. And we have taken it to a stage where I think it's one of the most mechanically efficient escapements in the world.
You also contributed a lot, making it into the single disc, right? You just reduced it to make it even simpler, which is the hardest thing to do, basically. Well, simpler as in...
Yeah.
Maybe simpler. Maybe I'm not using the right words. Simpler to produce, maybe?
Well, yes. We... George, he only created 8 watches with a coaxial in.
All right. Yes.
And all these 8 watches were all different. So he could never really put a set of principles to the escapement. So when I fitted the coaxial into my first watch in 2006, we started producing them. They all went into the same type of movement, the Series 2. And we began to see patterns develop because it was always a standard mechanism, as it were. And it was at that point that we really started to examine the escapement and work out how we can improve it. And that was through lightening of components, making it more efficient. And that did lead to the single wheel escapement. I had this idea. I was becoming very concerned that the upper and the lower teeth perhaps weren't always concentric to each other. And also the correct angular orientation between the 2 sets of teeth were not always quite right. And so by making a wheel in a single operation, fixed that. So again, we had another standard. We had a standard component within the escapement for the first time. And that enabled them to look at the escapements and how it was performing in a new way. And then again, start to make improvements. And eventually we got it to a point where I think I took the designs as far as I could. And then I had this idea that perhaps if we could reduce the whole scale of the escapement, shrink it down, the escape wheel would accelerate faster, everything would be a lot more efficient, lighter components. And again, that worked incredibly well. It transformed the watch. And for every single improvement in the escapement design, we've been able to reduce the mainspring strength.
Right.
And so then what happened was suddenly I began to realize that, in history, we always look at escapements. It's always about timekeeping.
Yeah.
And quite rightly so. We needed to navigate the oceans. So escapements always had this precision focus. But actually, I think what they've done today, what George's escapement has done, the coaxial, is, I think it's the most mechanically efficient escapement on the market. It's very high precision, but its power requirements are staggeringly low. You don't really need much power to drive it. So it means that any watch with a coaxial in, you can, there's very low power going through it.
Yeah.
So because of low power, there's less deterioration of any lubrication. It also means that there's less wear and tear in the mechanism. And so now we suddenly have an escapement where we can extend the service interval way beyond, standard norms, really.
Right.
And that's a big change. That's I think, a sign of a really great escapement.
Talking about your own brand, but before that, I wanted to say with your British watchmaking initiative, the British and clock and watchmaking
Alliance of British Watch and Clockmakers.
Yes, I know that, of course, the Scottish Watches have reported about that.
Yes.
I wrote for Scottish Watches, still write Instagram posts for them, so that's how I got into all the things. They're here, Dave and Tent.
I was interviewed by them this morning.
Ah, wonderful. Yeah, they're great guys. I love them, and they talked a lot about this, of course, the alliance.
Yes.
Are you now a bit more relaxed seeing the success of that, just to see that there's so much of movement, so much of enthusiasm and of bringing watchmaking back? Because, as you said, George Daniels, of course, being British, and you having this whole, the leadership of watchmaking was with Great Britain,
yes,
for the longest time, before it just branched out for cost reasons, which is the weirdest thing to think sometimes, right? And things are outsourced because it was cheaper in Switzerland. So that, I think, is this a bit of a, making you a bit more calm, and like, okay, we avoided that.
I think so. I mean, it's yes, as I said before, it's 5 years in now, and we're seeing this huge proliferation of businesses, and it'll never be what it was. But actually, the way it was the reason why it died. So it has to be different. It has to be different. And I think the fact that we are now getting people in running these businesses from outside of the traditional sector, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because they usually come from business, and they have good, fresh ideas, sensible ideas. And, if ever we want to see a rebirth in watchmaking, which we are doing, I think those are the people to drive it forward. And it's very exciting times. I mean, in the past 5 years, the sector has grown from, the British sector has grown from £125 million sector, which is tiny, let's be realistic, tiny when you compare it to the Swiss market. And it's now 206 million.
Awesome.
It's growing. Back then it had 500 employees. Now we've got 1,600 employees. So there's lots of positives to be had from that.
Absolutely. Great. Talking about business, how does it look if I want to get into business with you and I want to order a watch? I want to have a Roger Smith watch. How do I do this? I looked at your website and I saw, you have a few different model lines, but in the end, it's like, contact us. Just have a conversation, and then we talk about what I expect in my watch or what I want. And you say what's, or is it the other way around, saying like, well, this is what you can have? Or are you open to, is it, because I understood that every watch is on request. There's no, oh, I just want one of these, please, and a bag of chips. So there's a bit of a different way of going it. Can you talk us through the process of how it works?
Of course. I mean, we're making 20 pieces per year, and clients can choose from 6 pieces,
Mhm.
individual pieces. The process is sort of quite straightforward, really. Clients will join a waiting list.
Mhm.
They sit there, and then when their time comes, we'll contact them. And at that point, they can decide which series they would like to order. I have a discussion with them, and that's a really exciting part for me, because usually they come with some really, really interesting ideas
Mhm.
and ways in which they can create a watch with me, a very bespoke watch, basically.
Okay.
We can decide the case materials, dial materials to a certain extent, finishes, and so on. And also, there's been some really interesting ideas from clients in terms of movement finishing and so on. And, I think we're sort of really creating a modern take on the traditional English finish, with dark grey rhodium plating and so on. So that's a really exciting process.
Right.
And then once we've sort of finalised all of that, then it's a matter of starting the build of the watch. And the build typically takes between 18 months and 2 years to build a single watch. From the moment we sign off on the designs, we order the case materials, we start preparing the dial, any bespoke engraving is planned and prepared, and artwork may be created. We'll start the early machining of the base plates, bridges, start to make the wheels, and that whole process quietly, bumbles along in the background. And then a lot of the work really starts, I suppose, 9 months before completion, when all these individual component parts are brought together. And that's when the individual watchmaker sits down and starts to build a single watch.
Mm-hmm.
And he or she'll sit down and start all the hardening processes, the heat treatment, the finishing, starting to bring the watch together, to assemble and so on. And it's a very sort of rewarding sort of period. And eventually that watch is brought together and completed.
So there's a lot of individuality of inside each watch. I know it's you're not producing too many, but you have to consider servicing as well at some point. So how far can you go? Because the more watches, of course, are in the wild from you, the more will be serviced. The more you have to put resources aside to service them as well eventually. Is this also a consideration of why you keep it at that level, or?
It is, of course. I mean, fortunately, the coaxial escapement is super efficient. So for servicing actually is very, very few and far between.
Lovely.
But we do everything in-house. But of course, we are aware of it. Our watchmakers are all able to do that. We have one guy in particular, Jonas, who he enjoys that. He's great because some of the early work was, it's very different to what we're doing now, and it takes a really a good watchmaker to sort of understand that and see the differences in how watches were built. And
so is it you have people basically doing the servicing separate from your watchmakers who produce them?
Oh no,
or is this
same people. I mean, typically in a year we may only service 1 to 2 pieces a year. Very few at the moment. There's less than 200 watches in the world.
Oh right, yeah.
So over 36 years of making. I think next year we'll complete our 200th piece.
And I guess with this kind of attention to detail and of course tolerance levels that you are known for, servicing is probably not as, unless there is an accident with a watch, it's not really happening that frequently.
Yeah,
that's fantastic to hear. I was wondering if just in my mind I had like, okay, the idea of a team meeting and the person who's servicing the watches and telling the watchmakers, listen, you should really work on that wheel a bit better because sometimes. All right, yeah. Okay, I do have a few questions that I wrote down earlier.
Okay.
If we still have, there's 5 minutes.
I'm fine. Yeah.
How much is the location that you chose to build your watches, the Isle of Man, helping you to be, let's say, we have a German word for that, it's entschleunigt, that is like Beschleunigung means getting faster, and Entschleunigen means taking the velocity out of it. So to be slower, just to slow down and be in the mind, right frame of mind. I mean, it's an isolated place, if you can say that to a certain extent. It's very quiet.
Yeah, very much so.
Could you even consider having a watch workshop in a bustling and busy city and loud city like Dubai sometimes, where you have air conditioning running, people honking, and it's very busy and loud?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, I think the Isle of Man is actually. I think the Isle of Man has been a real asset in watchmaking.
Yeah.
There was no watchmaking on the Isle of Man other than George Daniels. So we can't go down the road to a case maker or a dial maker. We can't go to a movement maker. We have to be totally self-reliant. And so we've developed this workshop where raw material enters one end, and a year and a half, 2 years later, a completed watch leaves.
Right.
And that's because we've learned how to do everything ourselves. And that's incredibly important. But also, it gives me this independence. You know, this. I very rarely meet these people who I'm be meeting this week here in Dubai Watch Week, you know. And so the influences, there are no influences. And so my watchmaking is very much my watchmaking. And I get up in the morning, I make what I want to make. And that's the way I like it.
Okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because I can now scratch a lot of the questions of supply, and because Isle of Man is this, you can't have overnight shipping with
No. And also when you're developing watches, you know, with the best will in the world, I make mistakes, and so components may have to be changed. And you know, if we're working on a new design, and something isn't quite right when we're testing the component, you know, usually within a few hours, I can have a new component there. And that's just simply because we can prototype all in-house, we do it all in-house. And so again, that just helps to speed up the processes.
You mentioned before about some people coming in with less restraints from different industries. Is there one constraint in high-end watchmaking that you would wish doesn't exist? Where you're saying like, oh, that's actually a limiting factor I don't like?
Oh, I don't think so, really, actually. No, I mean, I like the way it is.
It's like cozy. I really enjoy this with it.
Yes. I mean, it's an interesting process. I mean, we're making 20 watches a year. I think that's enough. I have no ambition to sort of really increase that.
Is there any other area in watchmaking where you, as a perfectionist, and obviously that's why people buy your watches, because they know that they're flawless and they're exactly, you know, they probably don't see service for a very long time, and they're just the watches are made the way of how you discussed it with the customer. Is there still something where you have the feeling where you just can consider good enough, or is it something like that just doesn't happen for you?
Oh, for
any area where you say like, that is just good enough?
No, I have this sort of saying in the workshop: it's either right or it's wrong. Well, it is never okay. And the team know that, and they achieve that constantly. It really is brilliant.
Lovely. That's interesting to hear. And I have another question to you. You have, I don't think, I mean, to my knowledge, you have never made any collaborations.
Yeah.
No. And would there ever be a collaboration that you think would be worth doing?
I can't see. No. I try and keep my work very pure. It is, you know, and people have asked over the years or suggested, but no, for me, it's about my journey. It's about my watchmaking journey. And I really want to hold on to that. I don't want to dilute it.
Yeah.
I think, it's key. I'm keen to keep that identity going.
If there would be a company outside of watchmaking coming to you and saying that we would like to have
one of your pieces specifically made, maybe the Rolls-Royce, let's say, for example,
Yes.
right? In a very limited capacity, like 3 models. Or any other company outside that you might think, with these guys, I would like to have a collaboration because I look up to this brand or to what they do or so.
Yeah, well, the problem is, this may sound odd, but I don't. People like to call us a brand, but I don't consider myself to be a brand. I think what we do is beyond a brand.
Mm-hmm.
We are creating watches, as I say, which is beyond this brand idea. You know, a brand it's luxury, yes, but it's a luxury which is at a mass-produced level to a certain extent. And I consider that our work is above that.
Okay.
You know, we have a team of incredibly highly skilled people who are creating a watch from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that the brands can't do. And so for me to align with a brand wouldn't really work. It's, I wouldn't want to sort of
Dilute.
dilute what we're doing.
Okay.
You know, it's very pure, and
Okay.
that's something to keep hold of.
Well, fair enough. Is there any challenge that you have so far encountered that you haven't tackled yet? Or what is like your biggest challenge that you still think, I can improve on that?
I think, gosh, that's a good one, isn't it? At the moment, I'd say no. Although there is one thing I've never turned a case, a pocket watch case. That's something I must learn at some point. So that's probably why I've never done it, because I've been too terrified to have a go. But yeah, I mean, we really have become a master at what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we spent the last 25 years honing these skills, and that's, you know, we've developed an incredible team in the workshop.
Yeah.
Really highly skilled team. You're a very young team, and they're all able to do astonishing work. And even if perhaps I'm not so sure, they work it out. You know, they can take the lead now. They're very good.
Fantastic.
So it's a privilege.
Oh, it sounds nice. Last question, and then I'll let you go. The Isle of Man is not always very quiet. There's a specific event that happens where lots of people, you know, swarm onto your island and do some very, very naughty driving and going extremely fast.
Yes.
And if you see this, I think it's called the TT race.
It is.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Tourist trophy.
Oh, tourist trophy. Okay, that's what it stands for. Yeah. It's mostly, I think, motorbikes.
It
right?
is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not a big motorbike fan myself because my parents always told me, no, that's too dangerous for you. You just you have to wait.
Like my father as well.
Yeah. What's your favorite car brand?
Car brand. Gosh, that's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, my day-to-day car is an Audi, actually. Yeah, that's my day-to-day car.
I like to hear that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, I like old cars as well.
Yeah.
You know, I've just recently bought a Lancia Flaminia Zagato from 1962, which is in a unrestored state. So that's kind of my next passion project, to put this back together myself. So.
Yeah. I mean, I can see naturally there's a big connection because you also have there very, very few electronics you have to deal with.
Again, that's what I like.
Yeah, exactly, because that means you can repair this car.
Exactly.
Yeah, forever. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. That's a great way of ending our talk. For me, it was literally Dubai Watch Week for me is a kid in a candy store. I'm a biggest fanboy. I know in my first Dubai Watch Week, I met Philip Dufour, and I couldn't believe that this is Philip Dufour, and I took a selfie with him because I was so excited about it. And I can't believe you're here. And this now is rounding it up. I'm very, very happy that you have visited Dubai Watch Week. Is it your first time?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's your first time. Yeah. I was trying to remember. Like, no, I swear he wasn't here before. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
gracing us with your presence, and I'm really happy that we had the chance to talk.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.